Get your kids saving, period.
And when they're like 30 or 40 and this finally hits, they're like, oh my gosh, I had the best parents in the world. They helped me get a Roth IRA really early. I just calculated the last property I'm selling. I have a 300% return on investment in over a 5-year window.
You're now passing on a legacy to your kids about fiscal responsibility. And it gets fun. Welcome, everybody, to this week's episode of the Directed IRA podcast with yours truly, Mark Kohler, and the amazing Mat Sorensen, talking about Kid Rock and his new concert tour. Oh, sorry, no, we're talking about Kids Roth IRAs.
Kids Roth, yeah,
not Kid Rock.
Both awesome.
Yes, both rock.
Both awesome. Yeah, so if you've always thought about how do I do a Roth IRA for my kids, how do I teach them about finance and getting started and saving, well, the Kids Roth IRA account,
Boom.
which we happen to have a special account type at Directed IRA for that, is the strategy to use. We all know why Roth IRAs are awesome. We have prior podcasts on Roth IRAs. The money goes in and grows tax-free, comes out at retirement. It's the best way to save and grow your wealth.
Yep, tax-free on the way out as well. And so now there's a lot to this topic. I've got a chapter in my book on this. Matt's got the whole book on self-directing. And I've got YouTube videos and articles on this. So we're going to just hit the survey of some of the fun pieces and parts of this. It's ironic. Matt and I actually kind of take different approaches to this topic. I wouldn't say disagree about the technical aspects, but we disagree maybe a little bit about the how-to. And so I think there's something for everybody here.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. We don't be scared. There's going to be some spirited debate. It's okay.
Yeah, it's all good. Okay, so here, may I present the first topic in this conversation, and that is just saving, learning how to save, teaching your kids how to save, getting on a system of saving. What are my options to save? Where am I going to put that money to save? Now, we want to, if I may, step 2, use the Roth as that structure, but we're going to have to talk about some income issues. But let's just talk about saving first. What do you think? Maybe your thoughts on helping your kids save, getting saving, starting to save. What would you do?
Well, why are we doing this? Why are we setting up a Kids Roth account? There's a lot of reasons why you're going to do that. Sure, it's an awesome tax strategy. Sure, you're going to teach your kids how to build money and have a tax-free future. And when they're like 30 or 40 and this finally hits, they're like, oh my gosh, I had the best parents in the world. They helped me get a Roth IRA really early. Yeah. But when your kids are teenagers or they're young and they're learning about money, teaching them how to save and showing them, letting them see it in an account that they log into. I want to get into teaching them how to invest and letting them do it. Don't do this for them.
Yes, very good.
Help them get income if they don't have their own job, but let them be doing it. Let them see that come out of their account and into the Roth. Like, make them part of this process. That's really important.
Now, see the problem already. Matt said the word Roth about 6 times in that. I want to just say, get your kids saving, period. Just get them saving. I don't care if it's a kid that's 1 year old, 5 years old, 10 years old. Before we get to Roth, I want to say, open up an app that you can teach them how to monitor their savings. It could be an Acorns type app where they're saving a little bit every week. Maybe you get paying them an allowance for washing dishes, doing household chores. They're doing a little bit of babysitting. They could be just doing the most mundane things, but start talking about savings early. A lot of people we meet, it's funny, their family doesn't even talk about money. It's okay to talk about money. Yeah. Help your kids understand that this is how you build wealth, as you save. I love Dave Ramsey's video of, I'm going to put $100 in the bank, I'm going to get 10% interest, and next year there's going to be $110 there. Then I can earn interest on the 110. And then next year, I got the interest on the 100, the 110, and the next 100, whatever. So you're on the interest, on the interest, on the interest. And so be teaching your kids about the concept of savings. Start opening savings accounts and fun apps. I like the TD Ameritrade apps, the Acorns apps, and all these apps where they're just learning to buy stock or ETFs or mutual funds. Now, we're going to get to more advanced strategies, obviously, and get them into a Roth. But talk about money with your kids. That's what I just wanted to say.
Yeah, because they're not learning it in school. So they don't even learn it in college.
Oh my gosh!
I love this. I love all this stuff on social media and the memes. It's like, I know cursive, but I don't know how to do a tax return. Like that was helpful. Thank you, third grade, you know?
Yeah.
With, saving is like, it's kind of like, when you teach your kids like how to eat, if you're like a healthy person, like your kids usually pick up your healthy eating habits in a lot of ways because they're just used to that food, And if you're a saver and you just don't share that part of your life with your kids and you're like into investing and all this stuff, but you don't share that with your kids because you're like, it's just a money thing. I just don't do that. But you're going to eat like me and you're going to have this healthy lifestyle. You're going to go to this church like me. And here's all these other things I'm putting into you. Add this in, this money part, this saving. And that's such an important part of what kids need to learn because they're going to get out in the real world and they're going to have to figure this out for themselves if you didn't do it for them.
Yeah. And
that's the school of hard knocks.
And so, and when we're talking about kids, I'm not talking about just 5-year-olds. This may be the time you have an intervention with your 25-year-old and your 20-year-old, your 15-year-old. Here's a couple other tips. One thing that I make a game out of it. I had a fun experience. It was about 3 years ago. We had our corporate board meeting. This is a whole other topic. I want all of you many of you have a side gig. Create a board of advisors. Talk to your kids about your side gig. Talk to them about your savings account and what you're doing. James, I was thinking about you. James, our producer here, and my daughter and his daughter are the same age. And I was able to sit down my Molly and say, okay, here's the deal. Whoever saves the most this year, I'm going to match it. And I said that at Christmas, and all the kids are around there, oh, okay, whatever. And then the next year, Molly was the one that like saved more than anyone else. And it was the next Christmas, and I was so excited. I didn't say anything all year long. Come out at Christmas. Okay, everybody, show me your Acorns account. Show me your TD Ameritrade. And they were like, you were serious? And then I was like, damn straight. I was serious. And so I'm like, wrote a check into Molly's Roth IRA. And so, but it was just fun. Like, get involved with the kids and go, hey, for every dollar you save, I'll match it. Make your kids 401, give them the 401k strategy just from a family perspective. If you save $10, I'll match $10. Really? Yeah, I'll do it for you. Now, I'm not going to give you $10 to go blow it at the movies this weekend, but if I see you put $10 in savings, I'll match it. And so I think you can get your kids excited about savings when you participate with them.
Yeah. Okay, now let's hit the Roth IRA, if we could, and how this works for kids, because there's some technical things to this, and many of you know the Roth is the awesome account. Right?
Yes, this is where we want to be.
Throw money in, but this is this tax-free account the government lets us have. You can only put in so much every year, and so if you help your kids get started when they're younger, and you give them this little nest egg of Roth money that they can invest and grow over the long term, it could be substantial. It could be a great, great thing to teach your kids. All right. Now, your kids must have earned income. This is the really important part here. So when you're like, well, I'm paying them for doing chores, not earned income. Yeah. Okay. Maybe they've got a job. They've got a part-time job, a summer job. They do babysitting. They're working in your small business. They're helping on a rental property. Okay. Those are legitimate ways that they can have earned income that they can use to fund a Roth IRA up to $6,000 a year. The regular contribution limits apply, but they got to have earned income.
Yeah, I love it. And don't think that means a W-2. They don't have to work at McDonald's. They could just be working in your little side gig, cleaning the home office, mowing a lawn, shredding paper. And I've had clients pretty aggressive over the years, paying kids that are 1, 2, 3 years old because they're a model in their business, because they've been used for modeling clothing in their baby clothing line that they're selling stuff on Etsy, dentists that are doing pediatric dental care, and they have their kids involved in some videos and commercials. And there's legitimate ways where you could have your little Miley Cyrus wannabe, be in your business and pay them some earned income. But typically, you're going to start seeing kids on the payroll in your side hustle, maybe at age 8, 9, 10, and certainly teenagers. And at this point, they're going to the job site with you, or they're working at the office with you. They're cleaning the car if you drive Uber. They're doing different things to help you make money in your side hustle. And then that is where they have earned income. And they may not file a tax return even. It's okay. Mm-hmm. I've had clients go, well, my kid babysat last year. Really? How much do they make babysitting? Oh, probably $2,000 or $3,000. There's $2,000 or $3,000.
Yeah.
They just have to be able to say they earned the money to start a Roth.
Now, this is something you're going to face at different places where you may set up a kid's Roth account. Is some of them may require and only allow it if you have a W-2.
Yeah.
So somebody's like at Fidelity or something like that. They're going to be like, all right, where's your kid's W-2? Do they work at McDonald's or wherever you want to say, Or maybe they work at MacGyver Maintenance, you know?
Yeah, that's right.
MacGyver.
And even Acorns makes it difficult. They want you to send in the driver's license of the child. And, well, they're 10. They don't have a driver's license. So some of these online apps that are easier for the older children are going to be difficult when you start getting into the preteens.
Yeah.
So what we love, Directed IRA, the Directed IRA podcast, you're here. We simply have you fill out a form under penalties of perjury that the kid had earned income. Done.
Yeah.
We trust you. We believe in you.
Yeah. So many of our clients are self-employed. They have their own businesses. Their kids are getting paid in the business. They're not a W-2. They're under the standard deduction. They're not filing their own tax return. And so there needs to be a statement from you that there's earned income, and then you're reporting it, of course, on your taxes. So, so that's the first
gateway.
requirement.
First requirement.
They got to have earned income. Okay, you can't just throw money in there when they're 1 and be like, okay, well, what did they have? Now, like maybe they're doing the modeling fee thing, and that's where Mark's like, well, like put your kid, the pediatric dentist, put him in the pictures. Maybe just know that's a little on the aggressive side, and that's a position you want to take. In terms of, do they truly have earned income?
Okay.
Like,
now, let's digress for a moment and wet your whistle with something fun here. Now, on the markjkohler.com website, under Tools, I have the handy-dandy IRA investment calculator, where you can just plug in some different hypotheticals. So, Matt, for fun, tell me when you think you should start paying your kids. 12? 14?
14.
13
14 or 14.
14?
That's when I started really paying my kids in the business, because they would come and
14.
clean the office and do some photography, and like they all did little different things.
All right. 14 years old.
Yeah.
And
here's
age
why.
16.
Let me say why, and this is my approach on it.
Yeah. This is crappy approach, but keep going.
Okay. At 14, they really are doing something of value in your business. You can teach them principles of how to work. Okay. You can actually pay them what they're really worth, because they can be worth something at 14 and actually do something you would have had to pay someone else to do.
Okay.
And they have the competency to understand what the heck's going on. Okay. I'm doing this to teach them. I want this to be their Roth IRA, not mine.
Yeah.
And so they can start conceptualizing this better at 14. So I'm getting all these little things of why I love it all in one at 14.
Okay, fair point. Now, my counter to that, I told you this was going to be a feisty debate, was I was growing up as a kid. My dad owned some different commercial, to be blunt, he was a microbiologist, and he had laboratories, and he had like 2 or 3 locations, and then he would provide services to doctors doing testing. This is back in the 70s and 80s. Well, my mom would load us up every Wednesday night and Saturday morning, and we'd go clean the offices. And I remember, and my mom, I verified this with her, I remember it was some of my earliest memories are, we're going to the office to clean, and I'm a 6-year-old running around a vacuum, and my mom's teaching us how to work. My mom was just a great mother of teaching on the farm. We had a little farm. We had the cleaning every week. And so I was very involved early on working. But they didn't sit down and go, okay, now we're going to pay you and you're going to put this in savings. I didn't have a Roth IRA until I was adult in college. So there was good and bad there. But I think depending on your type of side hustle and your type of business, you might be able to get the kids involved. What Matt's main point is, let's make sure you're not being too aggressive, that you're going to have a problem with the IRS under audit. And number 2, that the kids understand what the hell's going on. This is not a sham. Make sure that they're involved. Now, I know some kids that are 8-year-olds and smarter than 18-year-olds. So, every kid's different, and parents that are really good at this and other parents that suck at it. So this is a chance to get better.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, back to my little calculator.
All right.
Okay. The kid's 14. We're going to retire at 60.
Okay.
Let's say you're starting at 0. We're ground 0.
Right, yeah.
Okay. How much are you going to put in a month?
Let's do $300 a month.
$300 a month. Okay.
That's $3,600. Okay.
That's half an IRA.
That's half. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. And then annual return.
Let's do 10%.
Okay, 10%. Now, I know some of you out there like, 7, 8% ETF. Some of you are like, well, I self-direct and get 12 to 15. Let's just go 10%. That could vary. Over time, you might get better returns one year versus another. Calculate. Hold it. I'll let you guess. It starts with 3. What do you think it is?
3.4 million.
You saw it, damn it. Okay, 3.4 million.
Little calculator in the head.
That's a 14-year-old. $300 a month. 3.4 million at age 60. People, do you know how many phone calls I've had? I got a ting of emotion just thinking of this. How many clients we meet that come in get on a Zoom call and they're 60 years old going, I need to think about retirement. It happens all the time. People would kill for even $100,000 at the bank at age 60. And we have a chance here because time is so precious. Look at this, age 14, 10% return, $300 a month. Let's just make that 8 years old. I started at 8 years old. Calculate, $6.3 million. I got started 6 years earlier, and I end up with $3 million more dollars. Is that insane? The power of compound interest, people. It is one of the, what does Dave Ramsey say, the eighth wonder of the world?
Yeah.
This is just...
Because why that works is your money starts making money, and then that money that you made from money starts making money, that's making money, that's making money, that's making money, that's making money, and it just keeps compounding. And so now, and I get this, and, we have clients that have done Roth IRAs for kids, and they've had 100% returns on their stuff. They're self-directing, they're throwing them in a real estate deal. I mean, I just calculated my last real estate deal, which I'm going to be talking about at the Self Directed IRA Summit. We're recording this a day before, so if you missed it, we'll be able to get the recording. But I just calculated the last property I'm selling. I have a 300% return on investment in over a 5-year window, So, but, think of what, if you can find deals like that. Guys, I'm no one special. I'm like just, lawyer, Matt, business owner, running my business. I'm not wizard of investments, So think of those Roth dollars and those types of returns you can make and help your kids get involved on a deal. One of the coolest strategies is when you find a really awesome deal and you have a Roth IRA for your kids, throw them in on it. Like we've had clients do wholesale properties or option a property. We've had clients do crypto Roth IRAs and buy crypto that they think by the time my kid hits 25 or 30, this crypto is going to be super valuable. I'm giving them a huge head start in their retirement account. Yep. So we love these kids' Roth accounts with self-directing where you can do better than 10%. You can do better than 8 or 12. But we just want to give you the run-of-the-mill numbers out there. Keep it conservative to show you what's possible.
Okay, so let's take a breath. We've talked about the concept of money, communicating with your kids, start saving early, start saving as soon as possible, whatever you can, teach them the process. Number 2 is, as soon as possible, use the Roth IRA as a bucket. Now, I've got all my kids with 2 savings accounts, one that's non-Roth, so they can save up for a car, their first home, and then they've got the Roth that they know they're not going to touch until someday in the future. And so there's a kind of a 2-pronged approach to saving where you're teaching your kids, here's your saving for your big purchases, and here's your savings for retirement. And so you're kind of getting that Roth going as soon as you can. They have to have earned income for it. We talked about that principle. Paying your kids in your business, huge topic of mine in all my books and material that I produce. Now, Matt started to touch on, well, if you've started early, you've got it in a Roth, the next variable is, what's my rate of return? And I like how Matt said, this is where self-directing allows you a lot more flexibility and creativity. So I was just going to add to that, if I could. For example, what we did that got fun is many of you are going to go, well, my kid only has $2 or $3 grand, if that, in a Roth IRA. Psh, there's nothing I can self-direct. I'm just going to buy stocks, ETFs, whatever. Well, we formed a family LLC, and we put $2 grand from every one of the kids. We had a couple kids that are married now. They put in their $2 grand, and all of a sudden, we've got 20 grand. All right, now we got some weight behind that. So we formed a little LLC. We can do that at the law firm for you. We do this all the time for clients where you have a family investment company. So now with this LLC, we've done some interesting things. We bought a CPU and a motherboard and 2 or 3 graphics cards. See where I'm going with this? And we're doing a little crypto mining. Some of you are like, well, crypto's done, it's gone, it's over. It's down, but it ain't gone. So we're doing some crypto mining with our little Roth IRAs. We've also bought and sold some assets. We've bought an F-150. We wanted to flip an F-150, and we can go out and buy different assets and put them back on the market. It's interesting. Some of my kids see things on eBay that are, or around town, and then we turn around and throw it on eBay or on Craigslist and can double our money. So you can do a little bit of buying and reselling. You can now look for that rental property. You could do some short-term lending. All of these are topics that we're going to be covering at the Directed IRA Summit. For those that haven't been to the SDIRA Summit before, you can go there now, get the recordings. We're going to be recording it this weekend live in Phoenix. But we got some experts coming sharing ideas of what they're doing with NFTs and in the metaverse and then with real estate and notes and all sorts of things. So anyway, just wanted to highlight, you don't have to be rich to get a better rate of return. You can just be creative.
Yeah, and everybody's account starts at 0, okay? So, like, you're just giving your kids a huge head start in building it to a larger amount that they can actually work with. Because when they hit their 20s and 30s, they're going to have a great little nest egg here. They can be very strategic about investing in the best account possible, the Roth IRA, tax-free. Just remember, tax-free. That means no tax. Because you can get taxed now with your regular money that's not in a retirement account, taxed later in your traditional account, which when you pull it out of retirement, you do get taxed. It's just later. Or you could do the tax never. That's the Roth IRA bucket. Who loves tax never? I'm over in that camp.
Yep.
They'll sign me up.
Now, there's one last thing that I love that you've kind of spearheaded making sure all of our tax attorneys talk about here is the Roth IRA can also be used for college in a unique way. Explain that.
So remember, when you put in the contributions, you can always pull the contributions out. So if you put in $6,000 a year, you can pull out that $6,000. If you got 5 years
anytime,
of contributions,
penalty free,
whenever you want. So like if you're doing the Roth IRA for your kids and you're like, well, I want to use this for their college, or maybe they're going to start a small business or do something. You're like, let's draw that money out. The contributions always come out penalty and tax free at any time. It's just the earnings that you have a penalty to get out before you're 59 and a half. So think of it as like this awesome savings account that whatever you put in, you can always take out whenever you want. It's just the earnings and the growth from your investments that get bottled up where you have penalties to get it out. That's why it's awesome. It's a lot more flexible than people realize because of that.
Yeah, I love it. And now, we don't want to encourage you draining your Roth IRA for reasons unless they're very, very, very important, because this is the future retirement that you're kind of cannibalizing if you're not careful. But also, I got to give a little shameless plug here. I just finished my new ebook, the Ultimate Tax Strategy Guide, 30 Tips. One of them is saving for college. One of them is the Roth. Another one is chunking at your Roth and building up a Roth even faster by converting some of your other retirement account money. The Roth can play a piece in all three, multiple areas, I should say. And so continue your education there. If you want to download my ebook, go over to markjkohler.com. You can also get it at the law firm website. And you're going to see 30 different tips, and these are a couple of them. Yeah. And you want to look at it from that perspective.
I want to hit two other, it's one. It's kind of part A and part B.
Okay.
Point on the kids' Roth IRA.
All right.
The first thing is the parent is going to be the responsible person on the account. So if you're setting it up for your child, the guardian is going to be the one signing the account agreement, okay? Your ID is going to be used typically on the account as well. You're going to be responsible on the account on behalf of your child. Now, when that child turns 18 in some states and 21 in others, they're going to have total control. Your name might be there, is like on the account and authorized, but your kid is going to have power to kick you off and do whatever the heck they want once they hit that magic age in whatever state you're at.
Not an 18-year-old. They do that?
Yeah.
Not a 21.
So that senior in high school, it's like, sweet, I got a $60,000 Roth IRA because my parents have been doing this for 5 or 6 years and maxing it out. And
One word, working. Ferrari.
Yeah, Ferrari. That's cool. I don't think that 50 is going to cut it.
No,
yeah.
Ford Focus. I'm going to get
2 words. You know what? Think about this. This is why when we talk about the beginning, this is a tool as an awesome account for tax planning, but you need to involve your kid. Teach them the importance of saving.
Yeah.
If they've gone through this over the year, they've seen this account grow, they can understand it. You might want to talk to them. Hey, this money could be used for you to start a small business, to pay for some college or higher education or training that you might want to do. Like, we're building for the future, but think of this money as a tool and let your kids know that. It helps them think about the money in a I can use this way.
Or they get disowned.
And also, it's up to you. Yeah. It's up to you to teach them to be responsible with this money, because unlike other accounts, like a covered education savings accounts where you can still control it, even though it's for their benefit, when they hit, 18, 21, 25, whatever, like you still get to control that. The Roth IRA, it's an account for them. They get to control it when they hit that age.
Yeah. Now, I'll give my final statement here.
Okay.
So we're in the courtroom.
Okay.
I'm going to walk up to the jury. Here's my final statement. You know what's interesting? If you do this right, you're not going to use the Roth for college. You really won't.
Yeah.
And here's why. When you start this process with your kids, it gets addictive. It gets to be so fun and exciting. All of a sudden, you've got other savings accounts you're building. And you're like, oh, now we got to get the Coverdell going for college and the 529 combo. And we're going to go over here and we're going to buy a rental property as a family. And all of a sudden, the family mindset starts to be more focused on wealth building rather than just spending and consumption. And you change that mindset of Americans that are just like, eat, spend. And all of a sudden, you're now passing on a legacy to your kids about fiscal responsibility. And it gets fun. And all of a sudden, you're having your family reunion and your family board meetings talking about the future, and your kids are stepping on your shoulders and being bigger and better with their money. And you're like, oh my gosh, I've created these little minions that are all excited about saving. And so it really does provide a lot of family unity, family bonding, a lot of family excitement. And just try it for a year. Try it for a year. Start saving, start involving your kids, have a few contests, have a few meetings, and I promise you, it's going to catch on. The kids are going to love it.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know what? Let's say it doesn't go well. You know what? What an awesome lesson for your kids to have learned before they hit 20, their 30s or whatever. Even if it doesn't go well, that lesson is going to be worth the money you've thrown into
because you can hold it over their heads later.
Yeah,
you really can.
You screwed up the Roth IRA, kid, Yeah. It was on you.
Some of the favorite words of a parent is, I told you so.
Yeah.
I love those. So,
Or you didn't do what I said,
Yeah. How's it feel now?
Yeah.
These are all great things, but if you don't do it, you can't say those things.
Yeah.
You want to have those in your arsenal.
Now, here's the thing. When you're setting up an account, whether it's directed or somewhere else, remember there's going to be the issue with contributions, so make sure you're clear on that and the rules that the custodian you're using. Like we said at directed, you get to self-select that and attest that the child had earned income when you're making the contributions. And then also on the Roth IRA account, we have a specific kids Roth account. The app is designed for kids where a parent could be responsible. It's set up in the kid's name, though, and it requests the right information. Some places don't have this thought through, and you end up filling a regular app. It doesn't make sense. It's a pain in the butt. So we thought this through. We tried to make it easy. So get over to directedira.com and just look for Kids Roth account. That's what we call it, Kids Roth IRA.
Well, and there's the Kids Roth regular, the Kids Roth crypto, and I'm going to tell all of you too, if you're going to open a Kids Roth account and you've got the wherewithal to really take this on seriously, open up the Coverdell at the same time. It's $2,000 a year. They don't need earned income. It's specifically for college, and you can self-direct it right alongside the Roth. So if you're all in and you're loving this, start thinking of grandkids, think of your kids, think about Roth, think about Coverdells, and you're going to get this portfolio, and you're going to love it.
Yeah, we got a separate podcast on the Coverdell Education Savings Account versus 529s. You've probably heard of that, so go check that out. Of course, we're going to be back next week with another amazing episode of the Directed IRA podcast. Get over to directedira.com/podcast if you want to ask questions. Every few weeks, we do our open forum. And, of course, if you missed the Self Directed IRA Summit, don't worry. It's going to be recorded. We'll miss having you there, but you can get the recording and enjoy all the education and training that we're going to be presenting there in just a couple days.
Thanks, everyone. See you next week.